Hold on. Sorry, everybody. I don't know why there's music still playing in the background. See if I can get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody, but we are back. We are back in the house. Me and my boy, we are here, and I'm so happy to be here. We're back. This is my boy, Hot Beavers. Hot Beavers, Hotspot. How you been, brother?
Man, I've been good. I've been in the mountains, getting one with nature, and well, this you brought me back down, man, just so we could talk about this. This is we're back. Not
Yes,
just not
sir.
just us, but
Yes,
man, we made
sir.
a
You know, it's
team.
always good, to be back, and we're here. And it's been a while too, guys. I've been busy also as well. I moved, and but we had to get things going, and we had to share, how we feel, on our side, and give our takes on things. So yeah, boys, and girls, and enjoy the show. So first, I want to talk about, last season, how it all, panned out. It was definitely a season that we didn't expect. I predicted more wins than I thought we would get. You predicted more wins, than we thought we would, get. And boy, I was wrong. You were wrong. And yeah. So, what's your take on how last season went, brother?
Man, uh, age catches up fast, doesn't it?
It sure does. It sure does.
Uh, you know, I don't I don't think there was a lot of development or kind of scouting of himself by Carroll when he took that time off, which I assume would be the thing. And then, the nepotism thing, right? Like, that was our first hint that something was off, right? Bringing in, his son as the offensive line coach, and we know how that went. Injuries had a lot to do with it. We weren't very healthy, but just wasn't great execution, no evolution of scheme, and the results are pretty obvious. So at least we got the number one pick out of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that was, a great thing to have, right? I mean, it sucks to have a losing season, but at least we got something out of it, which was the number one pick. And I completely agree with you on the age thing. He was, at first when Pete came in, I liked what I saw, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were going to compete, right? And that just wasn't the case. He was kind of stubborn on the players that he wanted to start. He didn't want to start and play younger guys. He wanted to start the guys that he knew, older veterans, because he wanted to win now. And I understand that point, but if things are not working, then you definitely have to, change things up there. And we all know the story with Brendan Carroll also as well. He was horrible at his job. He didn't know how to read film. Players would ask him questions, and he didn't know what to tell them. So, John Spytek had to go into the film room with Brendan Carroll, and help break things down with them. And that's embarrassing, if you're a coach, if
Mm-hmm.
the GM of the team has to come down and like tell you how to do your job,
Yeah, man.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but I'm gonna just go back on this here. I would like to thank Pete Carroll and Geno Smith for doing an excellent job for getting us that first round pick. So we wouldn't have that first round pick without Geno Smith and Pete Carroll. So
Geno. Oh, Geno Smith. How about Geno Smith leaving a team that immediately wins the Super Bowl, going to
yeah,
a
I
team,
know.
and they immediately get the number one pick in the draft?
Yeah, he's bitter. I mean, so I haven't checked his social page yet, but I did hear, he followed us, and all things like that. That's cool and all.
Yeah,
Um,
that's good.
that's definitely kind of like a tell that most likely he's not going to be on the team. Most of the time when players on teams when they unscribe from teammates of the team, that kind of means that they're out the door.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and him being on the roster next year would be the biggest surprise ever. I don't, we can cut him without any real penalty, so that's done. My boy A Train showing up big. What's up?
Yeah, shout out to A Train, man. I was talking to A Train, and honestly, Kieran, I would not be here right now if this guy, right, if I didn't reach out to A Train, we talked, and so thank you to A Train for being that part that was instilled to get this engine going again. So I really, really, appreciate that. And I want to read your comment here. And thank you so much for the super chat, man. Me and Hot will definitely share this here. And I got to read this, man, because I like the ending part of this. It's facts. So A Train says, split this and get yourself the Sixers to celebrate Raider Nation. Let's go, fam. Smash those thumbs up and subscribe. Getting turned up today, fam. Love you, Max, but nobody is above the shield. Raiders.
He's on
Yeah.
fire.
So
Nice.
I'm gonna say this right here, and then we'll go on Max. Further because I got a whole little section. We'll talk about Max, but I will say one thing here. I absolutely agree with you, A Train. Nobody, I mean nobody, is bigger than the Shield. Nobody is above the Shield. So I
Right.
absolutely agree on that aspect.
Right. No, 100%. We'll talk more about it, but for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Gino got paid. That's all he cares about. He definitely got paid.
And
And
yeah, I mean, it feels like that's kind of the thing, but you don't know what's in somebody's heart.
yeah.
So
How did you feel when you gave the bird to our own fans?
yeah, that was when I was just completely out on him. You know what I mean? Um, not as a player because it was obvious before that he was not going to be the quarterback that was going to create any kind of consistency or a jumping off point or anything like that, which I thought he might be. But I'm out on him as a player and as a person after that, right? Like
Yeah.
that's so immature. Like, bro, come on,
Yeah,
it's gotta be better.
I was bought into Gino, and I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Once he gave the finger, to our own fans, after he was frustrated and he had a bad game, that's inexcusable from our quarterback, and he's supposed to be the leader of our team. He's under center, and yeah, that was embarrassing. So once he did that too, I was completely off that, train there. And
Hmm.
yeah, no matter how many games you lose, no matter how many times you get sacked, if you throw picks, et cetera, that's not how one condones himself, especially from the leader of the team who's under center.
Right. I mean, the fans pay your salary. You know what I mean? Like, uh, no one. You go show up to an empty stadium and see how fun it is to play the game, right?
Oh,
So,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
shout out. What's up, Fuentes? Yes, it's been a long time. I was on a mountain with goats and sheep, but that's another story for when I air. I guess I'll fill you guys in on my channel at some point. But yeah.
Fuentes, what's up, man? Glad you're here. Everybody who's watching on the different channels we have here, if you're on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Kick, Facebook. We thank you for being here and thank you for the support. It's greatly, greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
So, that last season, was tragic. It was definitely not what we expected it, and but we did get the first round pick out of that. So with the first round pick, all signs and everything's pointing to Fernando Mendoza. So I want to talk about my boy here, Fernando Mendoza. Um, I've watched that kid in college, man. He is a great quarterback, and he's the perfect guy to ride the ship right now. He has the
Right.
perfect attitude. He is a football nerd in a good way, to where all he does is just study film. He takes it very serious. The guy don't even have a girlfriend because he said that if he had a girlfriend, that would kind of take his, him off
His
of,
focus away.
yeah,
Yeah.
off of football. But
Yeah.
I love the kid, and then there was also some fans too who wanted the kid out of Oregon. I can't think of his name right now. Um, but I always liked Mendoza
Dante.
better. He I just feel like he's a better overall, better prospect and leader. And the traits that Fernando has, that's really something that you can't teach. I love how he answers the press and post game, stuff like that. He says all the right things.
Hmm.
That's something that we, definitely need now, and it's a great change. And I like how just how professional he is in that bowl game, with that where he ran in, and he put his body on the line, to get that touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember people were saying he wasn't athletic before that too. So
Yeah, yeah. He's a lot faster people than what people think,
yeah,
and
6'5",
I
long strider, so he looks slower than he is, but he's not blazing fast.
yeah, yeah. I
He's
mean,
not.
he's not a statue, but he's not a race
Yeah.
car either. But he
No.
has that, perfect, balance, and if he has to move outside the pocket and scramble for the first down, that's definitely something that he could do.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
all for having a quarterback that could extend the play. And boy,
Right.
is he accurate. He has a good arm. He has all
Right.
the tools, and
Right.
you put him in there with Tom Brady, who is a football-minded genius, and you combine the football nerd and Fernando Mendoza, that is a great
Hmm.
pairing to have. And I can see Tom Brady and Mendoza just breaking down, play after play. They're talking about defenses, and
Right.
that's very, very, exciting to see, and I can't wait for that.
The fit too with Mendoza and the Kubiak offense is excellent. Kubiak's got to be salivating to get this guy in his offense. He has a higher ceiling than Sam Darnold, right? Um, he his strengths of like basically being able to confirm leverage pre-snap. He's really good at trusting the manipulation that the offense creates. He hits his windows on time with rhythm. If you hesitate, he punishes that stuff. It's exactly what you want from a quarterback in this kind of Kubiak offense, the way that it's designed. So I think the sky's the limit with what he can do with it. So I'm really excited. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
we're
and then
finally gonna pick a quarterback in the first round again.
yeah, yeah. And then before we move on to our brand new coach, I'm sure you heard the talk too. A lot of people, I'm not saying the people watching now, but a lot of people were like, trade out of the first that first pick, trade back, stock on picks,
Mhm.
build
Mm.
around all the holes we have. Fernando is not worth a first round pick. We all
Mm.
heard that, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even entertain trades, for that right now because in my eyes, Fernando is so valuable right now that um, not only is he the best quarterback coming out of the class, but it's something that the Raiders need. We need
Yes.
a young franchise quarterback who could be here under center for years to come, and I believe that he is that guy.
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even entertain it at all to like trade back or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah. No, you quarterbacks that you can win with are not something you sign in free agency typically. It's very rare. Um, if you do sign a quarterback in free agency that you can win with, then your offensive coordinator immediately becomes the best and number one head coach candidate in the NFL, like what happened with Kubiak, right? They signed Sam Darnold and won the Super Bowl, and everybody was like, oh my God, they won the Super Bowl with a guy that they just signed in free agency. The reason that's a big deal is because it doesn't happen. Okay, you draft your quarterback, and that's how you win. So we keep kicking the can down the road, and if we were a different team, maybe we could consider it. But this team has a history of not drafting quarterbacks in the first round and then wondering why we don't have a good quarterback. So, yeah,
Right.
time to pull
Right.
the trigger, right? I can find everything else in free agency, save a great left tackle or something like that, probably, right? So
Mm,
let's go, right?
I
Definitely.
agree. And then how do you feel about people saying, "Oh, the last time we drafted a quarterback, with in the first round with a high of a pick, for example, Demarcus Russell." A lot of people like to, say that, and I think it's comically funny, how people want to even try to compare that, because it's
Yeah.
completely different.
Right.
It's completely different. And I just want to say this right here to all the people who want to compare Mendoza to Jamarcus Russell.
You idiot.
you know, like, I ain't gonna go down that that whole tunnel, and
No, I mean the differences are clear off the field, right? There will be no blank tapes that Mendoza watches without realizing it. He's not on scissor. Um, like you said, he doesn't even have a girlfriend. He sleeps and eats football. These are two completely different prospects. Um, the only thing that would connect them is that they were both being drafted by the Raiders number one overall. So yeah, that's just fear and trauma, which I get, right, from being a Raiders fan for a long time. Like we just haven't had really good luck or good work picking good draft picks. And so this looks scary. We figure, oh, we take more picks and have a better chance at getting something good. And I get that. But this ain't the time to get scared. Scared money don't make money. We have to do this thing. And we
absolutely,
eventually have to be able to draft a quarterback if we're going to be a professional football team that wins games. So we got to take
absolutely,
shots.
and what better time than now? What better
Right.
time than now? You know,
Got,
we have,
got the
it's
first pick.
it he so this opportunity fell in our lap, and we definitely have to grasp it, and
Yeah.
take advantage of that window while we can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you don't get a lot of shots at the number one pick, hopefully. So
Mhm.
we're not going to be in a better position to have a franchise quarterback than to draft one right now. Then so you might as well get it done. Pull the trigger. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of our brand new coach, let's talk about our new head coach, Clint Kubiak, Double K. You know, um, so I'll be honest. During the whole coaching search, when that head coaching vacancy was open, I'll be honest. And I'll always be honest here. I wanted, Harbaugh. That's who I wanted. I like the Harbaugh family and how they coach. But we all know how that turned out. Who knows if we even had a chance? But he's now with the Giants. My second choice for coach was Mike McDaniel, the coach who got fired from the Dolphins. I like his offense, and I figured if you pair Mike McDaniel with a solid defensive coordinator, I feel like things could have worked out. And then Clint Kubiak was my third choice. But now, as as time went on, and I think about it, you know, Mike McDaniel is a good coach too, but I noticed he's kind of more laid back, and he's more of a players coach, and he's not
Mhm.
really like pushing players. Or it seems like when it's time to be stern, he can't be stern, with his players. He wants to be the cool guy hitting his vape and like all that. And
I knew the vape was coming up.
and then and then after watching Clint Kubiak interviews before he got hired, I go on YouTube, and I search, and I like to see how he handles himself, and he's not a rah rah guy, he's very calm, and he tells it how it is, and I
Mhm.
like it. He's kind of a quiet guy, and the quiet
Right.
guys are the ones you gotta watch out for, you know? And,
Mhm.
not just that, but he comes from, his father, great, great coach, he's a his father, Gary, was a champion with the Broncos, and then he went on, to be the coach of the, Houston Texans,
Right.
and if and so when I think of that Texans, roster with his dad, Gary, on there, I think of Arian Foster and that
Right.
run game, that
Right.
they have there, right? And I just picture Genty, kinda, just balling out like that,
I
you know?
mean, yeah, Kenneth Walker and I forget the other back that they had up there that was splitting time with him. Um, they went pretty wild in that offense, and they don't
Yeah,
have the same kind of talent and skill as Genty has, right?
right.
Um, the Kubiak offense is amazing. First off, he was my first choice. Um, when I had I still have a buddy, Chris. What's up, Chris? If you're watching, up in Seattle, and we were talking, you know, uh, right after it was clear our season was over, and we'd acquired the number one pick. And he goes, "Who do you want?" Into the head coach. That Carroll's out, and that didn't fly. And I was like, I don't know, probably Kubiak. And I was giving him crap, about how we're gonna steal him, and then we did. So, yay.
Yeah,
I wanted somebody young. I wanted a coordinator on offense to go to pair with the fact that we're going to be picking the number one, prospect the number one pick in Mendoza. And I like the Kubiak style of offense. I think it fits us really well. There's a lot based, a lot of it has been said about the 12 personnel thing, and we've got Mayer and Bowers, and then Genty, and so I think there's a lot of pieces that we have for what he wants to do, and all you hear is good stuff. You hear about the players wanting to run through a wall for him. He's super detail oriented but tough. He's in the building early. It's the kind of stuff that reminded me of what it sounded like when we brought in John Gruden as a young coach.
absolutely.
Same, words being said about him. He's brilliant. He's tough. The players love him. They run through a wall. He shows up early. All he thinks about and cares about is football. So you get
Yeah,
this head coach that's that way, and then Mendoza's that way, and Tom Brady's in the building, and all of a sudden things a little different. So
yeah,
let's go.
yeah, yeah, man, I agree, and, I also, I was worried when we didn't hire a, coach, and we were waiting, it was a waiting game, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, all these coaches are getting signed, they're filling out their staff," and I was like, and I had that "what if," in my head, like, "What if he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't use us?" You know? And
Right.
then we would have to, like, settle, for some bum coach, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's what happened last year, right? We wanted Ben Johnson, right? When he didn't show up, it was like, well, I guess we'll just take Pete Carroll and see how that works out. And so I'm glad that we were able to get our number one guy this year and we weren't forced to settle for something else and hope. So yay. For once. I was absolutely nervous. I was nervous about it. But like I could tell from some of the tea leaves that it was probably going to be that he was coming, right? You
Yeah.
know, one of them was a big one is that like his brother interviewed early on and
Oh, yeah.
then pulled his name from consideration pretty quickly. and I thought that was a pretty clear sign. Like obviously clearing the way for his brother. It just that's what I felt in my gut when that move happened,
Yeah.
and then
So
having him, yeah.
once there was only us and the Cardinals left, that's
Oh
when I
yeah,
was like,
like he's definitely
that's
choosing us.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's when I was kind of confident, and I'm not hating on the Cardinals fan, but we
No,
got to
shout out
call
to my Cardinals fans out there, but
a
man,
spade here, right?
yeah,
I
he's not
feel, and
choosing
I'm
the
not trying to be
Cardinals.
biased at all. I just feel like we have a
No,
better overall, roster,
no, no.
and
They're into some tough position right now. Hopefully, like the Mike LaFleur hire wasn't a bad idea, but yeah, definitely glad to have Kubiak, and I knew for sure he wasn't going to choose to go to the Cardinals. And then he turned around and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not really interested in that job. I'd rather stay in Seattle." So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And then I know I said this last year too, and but I'm honestly feeling good going into the season, and I feel like it's something fresh, and it definitely feels refreshing, right? Because we have our new coach who's young, offensive minded guy. We're gonna
hmm
get our quarterback, and Fernando Mendoza, like I'm 99.9% sure, we're gonna draft him, right?
right,
And that is gonna be our young building block core along with Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers, and we have a nice young solid core of a foundation to build
right,
with for some years to come.
yeah,
And Fernando on his rookie contract deal, we could, acquire, good talent and surround him to be in the best position, as possible.
right,
And, we all want a mansion, right? But we got to build the foundation first, and I think that this is where we're laying down, the foundation for that mansion.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's not just you know uh, Mendoza coming in, which I think, like I've already said, I think he has a higher ceiling than a Sam Darnold and can replicate a lot of what. If you look at Sam's season this year, there were some struggles. He wasn't perfect. It's something in the mid 20s for touchdowns and the mid, teens for interceptions in that area, right? That's something
Yeah,
I think Mendoza could replicate as a rookie, right? And then, Bowers is much better than anything they have over at tight end. He would kind of replicate the role of like Jackson Smith Njigba, what JSN was doing over there, and creating mismatch problems, moving around, and being an issue. So the move a lot. I mean, Genty is better than Kenneth Walker the third, right? I think that you know, um, with what we have on this roster, Mayer is better than any tight end they have as our second tight
absolutely.
end, right? So that 12 personnel is going to be a real issue for people. Um, the shifts that we can do from 12 to with tight end motion and creating numbers conflicts and things like that. The play action stuff we can do. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't I don't feel like we even really need Shaheed um, because we have a lot of good speed on the team already. Um, so yeah, I'm really confident that like this offense and what it's being asked of, what the players are being asked to do, that we have are such a good match, right? So
Mhm.
that's not it's not always the case, right? Um, I like Jack Beck best,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Um, that Cooper Cup kind of big slotty roll stuff. He can do a lot of that.
Mhm.
Trey Tucker, Rashid Shaheed, right? You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
start to look at it. O line's better than it's given credit for. A lot of injury stuff happening there. I feel like, Atrium was talking about this earlier. I mean, if we were one or maybe two O line pieces away from having a very solid, very good offensive line, especially with Colton Miller's healthy all year. So, yeah, I'm better than it
Yeah,
looks. I'm excited
yeah.
about that.
I wouldn't be opposed to having Shaheed, honestly. I mean, and I am biased kind of towards speedy, fast guys. I like that. Players that can stretch the field and get that instant, bomb or a touchdown of a play.
Right.
But there's also, other players too. Like for example, there's Pierce who was on the Colts. I believe that's his name, Pierce.
Alex Pierce. Yeah.
Yeah, he's solid, but I understand your point be- uh, between Tucker and Shaheed. They're both fast guys, but I always say speed kills. It if we did get them, that'd be great. If we didn't, then it's like, oh, okay, you know.
Right. But yeah, Tucker provides the kind of Z receiver speed stress that you need that you get from Shaheed. And
Mm.
then, the big slot stuff by Bash. And then you've got your inline tight end who can really give a lot of problems in play action, right? And then Bowers is that piece that you can move around. It's a huge cheat code, basically. And, you know, Genty can catch out of the backfield as well. And he's a bigger running threat than I think Kenneth Walker is. I think this offense, with the players we have in it, I would rather have Bowers in this offense than JSN. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Right? Because of what he does, because it's like either you treat Bowers like he's a receiver, right? And then we just run all over you with Genty. Or you treat him like he's a tight end and then he's matched up on a linebacker and you know what that means. So pick your poison, right?
right, right. I agree. And before we go to answer some questions here in the chat, I just want to give some coaching updates here that we have. So we hired
Right.
Mike McCoy as our new assistant coach. Rob Leonard has been promoted and will be our new defensive coordinator. And Joe DeCamelis, I hope I'm saying his name right, is
Mm-hmm.
our new special teams coordinator. And
Right.
then also before we just started this live, I was informed that Andrew Janoko is our
Yes.
new offensive coordinator, and I like that hire there because him and
Yeah.
Clint have been together for a while.
Right. Yeah. He's quarterbacks coach in Seattle. Followed him there from the Saints, so they've been together for a good minute. I think him being there is going to help smooth the transition, and give along with McCoy, give Kubiak some offensive, play calling and thought process to lean on as the game, goes along. So huge hire to get that done. And at this point, I mean, that's all the major hires that we have left. Offensive line coach is probably something people want to see, right?
Yeah,
As long as it's
yeah,
not like
Brendan
Kubiak's
Carroll. As long as it's not Brendan
babysitter or
Carroll.
something. Just can we hire like an actual offensive line coach? But yeah, that's it was a good hire. It's a good hire. I want to say like shout out to my boy Christian right now. It's his birthday. He's turning a strong 11 years old today. So
Happy
if
birthday
you
to you, Christian.
if you see a overjoyous redhead boy having a really good time, it's probably him. But yeah, gang gang.
Yeah, happy birthday. Let me play this for you. That was for Chris. Happy birthday. Hope you have a joyous, safe, blessed birthday. So we're
So,
gonna go here to A Train question here. If we move on from Max, what's your guys' dream and also a realistic scenario? And what do you think of a trade of Tyree and what could we get for him? So Hotspot, my man, I'll
yeah,
let you touch bases on this first on this one, and then I'll
yeah,
go right after you because I have something about Max
yeah.
that I do want to say.
All right. If we move on from Max, first I'm gonna be really clear. I do not believe that we should trade Max Crosby. Um, Miles Garrett wanted to be traded. Remember that. He's just fine now. I think Max wants to win, right? I think he wants to be a part of an organization that's moving in the right direction. So I don't think we should trade him. The only reason we should trade him is because we got a Godfather offer. So that requires that we get a starting player who's young and 2 first round draft picks. If that is not what we're getting back, if we're not getting and when I say a starting impact player, wide receiver, pass rusher, defensive tackle who's off the chain, and he needs to be young on a contract that's controllable, and then 2 first-round picks on top of that. I want a Micah Parsons level offer, or he goes nowhere. So that's I think the realistic scenario because the Raiders are not inclined to trade him and have no real reason to do so. And Max is not asking to be traded. He's in the facility at 4 a.m., getting work done. So unless he comes out and says publicly, I want to be traded, there's no reason to make this move. So, but
Okay.
if we do, Godfather offer.
All right. When you guys hear that sound, that's when Wes is going to get wild. All right. Now, I got to make things clear. Here's Max. Okay. I'm tired of the cryptic stuff. You either do or you don't want to be here, right? Now, I agree with Hot here, you know, to a certain extent, but we're kind of on the same page here. So if you want to be here, just be here. If you don't, just come out and say, look, I don't want to be here. I don't need your little secret shit messing up, what we got going here on our on a new rebuilding processing, team on what we have here. And I don't want all the, baggage that's going to hinder Mendoza and it's going to put a damper, on us going forward. We don't need all that extra shit. So I know this is a family show, but I am, I apologize for cussing, but I'm going to call it how I see it. And yes, if we do trade him, it has to be for a Michael Parsons trade. And from what I've been hearing, that's what it should be. So it'll be a 2 first-round picks and a Pro Bowl player. And now, would I take 2 first-round picks and a Pro Bowl player? Yes. And I will say yes, only because if he wants to be traded, then he has to do it. I will we'll cut ties. And as A Train said earlier, no player is bigger than the shield. I just don't like, all this secret guessing, that he has, and he's playing with our emotions as Raider Nation in full because one report you got Jay Glazer coming out, oh yeah, I talked to Max and he's mad because they benched him, 2 games that didn't mean shit. They've benched him 2 games that did not mean, and I get it. He is a warrior, but the Raiders had to do what's best for the Raiders organization. That's keeping their player healthy and not risk him getting hurt or his knee more, damage, and then things could just ultimately get worse. But
Mm-hmm.
and then he comes out saying, "Oh, nah, I'm tired of people, putting words in my mouth, blah blah blah." But he beats around the bush too much. I'm sick of it. And
Yeah.
if he wants to go, trade him for the Parsons trade package. If he wants to stay, that's cool. We all love Max, but I'm tired of that shit. And this is for you, Max.
You son of a bitch.
I am tired of it. I'm tired of it. Okay. So there's that there. And then let's get into part 2 of Adrian's question here. And Tyree. So
Yes.
Hot, please bless us with your take on this.
All right. So Tyree's trade value is not going to be great right now, right? I understand the propensity to give up on a first-round draft pick who's number 7. He did not draft himself number 7, right? There's been a lot of turmoil as far as the head coach. I understand we kept Patrick Graham around, but role stuff has been weird. Usage has been weird. He started to come on near the end of the year. I think in a defense where Rob Leonard gets to kind of unleash him in a way that I think he can be used. There's a better chance you get value out of him now that the defensive line coach is a defensive coordinator, out of moving inside and being able to move around, that sort of stuff. So I would keep him. If you did trade Tyree, then you're talking about like a conditional, fifth or fourth round pick at best, for
Right.
him, right?
Yeah. You know
And
what? He has flashes in the pan moment, right?
yeah,
But like I said this last year too. I'll give him one more chance, right? But I don't know, man. I'm kind of at that crossroads with him, man. And I agree. If we could get a fifth round pick, that would be awesome. But I want to tell you one thing that is awesome. We have another special guest here.
what is up?
My homie, everybody, EBH Black is in the house. What's up, my man?
What's up? What's going on, Black? Look like we're trying to get audio going.
Okay. Well, I'll let him get his audio sorted out, and it's good to see you, brother. So let's go to the next comment here. So he says, A Train says he's a defensive tackle if anything.
Yeah, I think having him be able to slide inside and on passing downs and play some D tackle, right, in the NASCAR package is really what is going to make a ton of sense here. I think we need to sign another veteran defensive end. It should be a priority in free agency. I mean, like a Trey Hendrickson would be awesome to throw on the other side there, especially in the defense. I think Rob Leonard's going to try to put together.
Excited. You're going to be too excited. Man, that would be nasty work.
I mean, we got the money.
Is Tyree anything now? Is he worth anything? Is he anything? Does he have anything of value right now besides just being, just a
I
body?
think
you
he can wreck some shit. He does get pressures that end up being something, right? Yeah, I think having the ability to have him slide inside and move around, playing more five tech. I think, the kind of the end tackle loop stuff we're gonna run a lot more under Leonard. And he's gonna probably excel at getting that kind of stuff done. And like A Train says, Kuntz coming back to add more depth, I think makes a ton of sense as well. Yeah, Chase on would be nice, but he is a free agent. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'd like to spend that defensive end money on somebody who is going to be a real pair with Max. And can play the run well as play the pass, so that we don't have a hole on first and second down and stuff like that. So that's why I'm looking at somebody like a Trey Hendrickson instead. But I mean, yeah, we could patch some things up. I mean, Von Miller is 37, but he's a free agent, and him and Max are buds, and he played under Gary Kubiak for the Broncos. So could be interesting to bring a situational guy like that in to add something to the rotation. So we just need to up the pass rush, and I think that's a big focus here. I think that's what A Train is kind of hitting at, right?
Yeah, I agree, man. It's unfortunate we don't have a Chase on no more. But I think that we definitely, have to keep Kuntz now. I'm just not really big on Tyree anymore, man. I mean, he had, time and he was great in college, man. But I just don't, know what happened. I guess he didn't really, like transfer all the good skill that he had from college to the pro level, and it sucked. And if we could have, more flash in the pan moments where he could be, like more of an asset to our team,
Right.
that would be, a lot, better. But I'm kind of almost at the point to where he's out in the water and I'm throwing my lifesaver ring to him, and I'm like kind of at the point where like, dude, I can't save you anymore, pull it back in, and it's sink or swim, you know.
This is definitely a sink or swim year for him, for sure. What's
Yeah.
up, D Menace?
D
What's up?
Menace, what's up, my man? What's up,
Good to
brother?
see you.
Good
Good
to
to
see
see
you,
you.
man. Good to see you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, I think this defense is going to give a lot of players a better chance to succeed. Looking at our new defensive coordinator, Rob Leonard, and who he coached under, Brian Flores, Mike McDonald, and then he spent time under Graham. And so you look at those different systems and how they're probably going to come together. Brian Flores is all about pressure, aggression, right? Um, pre-snap intimidation stuff. Mugging the A gaps with linebackers and 5 and 6 man pressures, the simulated pressures, and things like that. That can a lot of times unleash athletic ability. You know what I mean? Patrick Graham was a lot about multiple fronts and you know uh, getting really specific for each different week, right? With different game plans and you know odd and even fronts, and so a lot of thinking, right? And a lot of times that can get in the way. I think of a player like Tyree Wilson kind of developing through and showing up. You know, um, what he learned from Mike McDonald, right? I think the ability to kind of you know mess around with what's happening in the secondary more, right? And let your defensive line, besides the line stunts, just go get the quarterback, right? I think that could make things easier for a Tyree Wilson and for other players on the line, Akuns, things like that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, is this a Raider
Great,
fan or?
great take, man. Great take.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
a comment here from Mr. Greger. He says, "The Raiders suck and will always suck."
Okay. All right.
All
Well,
right.
I guess we should
Well,
just end the
hey,
show. We'll all go home and.
we we embrace all people who watch us here, and if you think we suck, then that's you're entitled to your opinion.
You idiot!
But I just I would like to know who's your team. But yeah,
Hmm.
look, I'll be honest. We have sucked. And it's been a long time, but I feel like we finally turned. A different page in the chapter.
Yeah.
But ultimately,
Move this man!
A Train. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. A Train,
Yeah.
dropping that heat.
Yeah.
He's on fire!
Things on fire. Yeah. Right. Let's keep it positive. But yeah. I don't know. I think I understand the idea of us being sucky. We've been pretty sucky for a while. But it's also you know pretty normal for teams to suck. I mean, if you look at it, how many teams in the NFL actually won a Super Bowl ever,
Oh yeah,
right? Like ever. I mean, Minnesota's still waiting. So the
yeah,
Chargers still waiting, right? So there's been those years we have actually won. So that's something.
yeah. So let's play a fun little game here.
Hmm.
So I know we haven't fully built out our roster. There's still things we have to a lot of players we have to sign, and there's a lot of holes that need to be filled. I didn't mean that the wrong way. And yeah, so just with what's happening now, how many wins do you expect us to get with the new regime going in as of today? Like, I know we're still going to sign on, but as of today, if you had to throw that dart at the dartboard, and say, hey, we're going to get so and so, what is your guess?
All right. So my estimation or thought process here is obviously built around the idea that we're going to pick Mendoza. We're going to address the wide receiver, offensive line, right, and pass rusher in free agency, right, and then depth in other places through the draft as well. If we do those things, right, I think this is at minimum. I think the kind of bottom expectation, lower level expectation for this team is probably about 7 wins, right? I think if everything goes right and we hit on all cylinders and we can, we don't have a lot of issues and things kind of really work out well, then this is could be a 10 or 11 win team, right?
Okay.
I think that's the range I expect us to be in, based on where we're at now, what I think Mendoza's rookie year will probably look like, and how I think we're going to spend $100 million in those draft picks, right? Get back to me after we actually do that, and we'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
So I've been, wrapping my head around this, also as well. And last year, I'll say it again, I was wrong. I predicted us to get 9 wins, and boy, was I wrong. But this year, I know we're not going to win right away. I don't expect us to be a Super Bowl contender in 1 year. I don't expect us to be a playoff contender in 1 year. But I will say this: I expect us to get 5 to 6 wins, and I will be happy with that. Of course, I would love more wins. Of course, I would go like to be like the Dolphins. And go and be undefeated like them in '72, right? But I believe that we're gonna all the players and the new coaching staff. They all have to kind of gel still, right? So I kind of see that first year as a gelling process. Um, Kubiak getting to know his players, who he has, who has to be cut, who has to stay, all that stuff. And I realistically see us winning 5 to 6 games now. Once we fully acclimate our staff and we hire all the free agents, we get all the players post draft, all that stuff. Then I could definitely revise my decision on what I think our win losses will be. But yeah, for as of right now, I'm going with 5 or 6 wins.
Fair assessment. Yeah, if you put this team out as it is right now, without any improvements to through free agency and in the draft or whatever, this is another this team wins 3 games again, right? So, you know, um, we'll see.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
Shout out to Warrior Christ here. We've been bad because we keep changing head coaches. Gruden was finally taking us somewhere, and then he got sabotaged.
Facts.
That is one, never-ending story with us. We're always cycling through different coaches, coordinators, and the quarterback doesn't have solid grounding here, to kind of build with that with the coach or a coordinator. And I'm happy that we gave Kubiak a 5-year deal. So that way, the
Mhm.
and Mendoza and the players could get to know his system, gel, mesh, and it could maximize their potential for the team. And yes, Warrior Christ, I am completely, on board. And John Gruden is my favorite Raiders coach ever, and that's just me because I grew up watching him the most. And but yeah, he had things going. He can't draft, but he had things going. And it was a bummer. How things unfolded there. We got
Absolutely.
Alex here. Yes, Raider. Yes. Will be interesting to see what the Raiders do in free agency. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have so much cap. We have so much cap space.
Yeah.
It
Jalen
is
Watson.
basically open for Spytek and Kubiak's disposal to what they want to do. Like there's so many routes and avenues and options that they could go with. And so I didn't go deep, in to the free agent list, so I don't really know, like who's all out there yet. But I do know that there's the offensive lineman who was on the not Patriots, I mean Ravens, um, Lindenbaum, so that would be, one guy that I would definitely, like to acquire. And I know a lot of people, because I've seen this, in like comments and other podcasts as well. They're like, well, we don't really need him because we have um, JBJ, which I understand that aspect of that. But we could definitely, and this is just me, I feel like we could get Lindenbaum and then kind of move JPJ to a different position per se. And I understand, he's natural at center, and all that. But to me, I just feel like Lindenbaum will be a complete upgrade.
To the line. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather keep JPJ at center, but I'm not going to cry if we bring in Lindebaum and then move him to guard. I mean,
Mhm.
that's not something that is unheard of. Um, I think he can deal with that. Um, so upgrading off of the line is extremely important, just like he's saying. Um, and then Jalen Watson, so a big time corner in free agency, because I think we should bring back Eric Stokes.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
For sure.
like he played extremely well. Bring him back. His deal's not going to be too expensive, right? And then go spend some real money on a number one corner to pair with him and Darian Porter, and then some of the development that we saw. I'd like to see some more reps out of Lonnie Johnson Jr. and Tristan McCollum and I think Chin. You know what I mean? What he can do as that kind of hybrid linebacker safety in this defense. So there's a lot to work with there. Eichenberg, I think actually was developing pretty well as a linebacker, and he kind of fits what we're going to ask linebackers to do here, which is not too much, as opposed to what Pete Carroll kind of relies on them to do, which is a lot, right, in that defense. Um, and so yeah, I think you know we've got kind of probably have to bring back or have a veteran in the middle to help with that. But we definitely need a little bit more depth at linebacker. But there's a lot to work with. A lot to work with. Mm,
I agree. A
yeah.
Train with a super chat with a $10 people's elbow here.
Another one.
Another one. This is my family. Love you, Black. I hope everybody's well. Just be positive. We haven't done business the right way in in a second.
Right.
Raiders.
Give me a hell yeah!
Hell yeah. Hell
Let's
yeah.
go.
My
Nice.
man, A Train, the legend.
Legend.
Maybe bring back Roberts for the continuity.
Continuity. Yeah. Landon Roberts, having him come back in the middle makes a ton of sense. So that yeah, look, we are closer than it looks in a lot of ways, right? I think if we draft smart linebackers, add some depth at safety, right? Make sure we're prioritizing people who know how to communicate well, and add that corner and pass rusher, everything changes on defense, and we have the money to do it. So, we can easily go and get 5 real impact free agents with this cap space. And just think about what those positions are and how you want to improve this team. It could be a big turnaround. The Chicago Bears were not good 2 years ago, right? So
Yeah. Great take, brother. Great take. Warrior Christ, I passed your comment. I apologize, but I'm bringing it back up. He thinks he's going to go 9-8. Okay. Okay. 9-8. Right on. And then
mm-hmm.
A Train says, y'all need to come down for the draft. Hey,
The
if
draft at the train station.
hey, if we have time, I'm always down. So we definitely have to coordinate. Once it gets closer to that time and see where we're all at. And then see how things pan out. But that would be something that I would be open to for sure.
Nice,
Definitely.
nice.
All right. Do
So,
you have any final comments, Hot, or anything that you
man,
would like to say to our the great and powerful crowd that is in here right now?
thank you guys for being here. It's great to be back. We're gonna do this regularly. So you can see us every week on Sundays, and then we're gonna record some shows for you guys that really break things down. Me and Western are gonna take the time to look at this team, these coaches, these schemes, tell you what they mean. I've got some ideas on what I think we're going to see from our defensive coordinator, and we can look at how Kubiak's going to use the roster, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get back in and dive into this. So thanks for showing up, and thanks for showing up in the future. And all the support is crazy. So super chats and all
Yeah.
that. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Hold on, everybody.
It's Raider Ryan.
It's Raider Ryan. Raider Ryan's here. Hey, everybody. It is the ambassador of Raider Nation. He is here and he blessed us with his presence. Raider Ryan, salute, brother. How are you doing, my man? My man, Raider
Give me
Ryan.
a hell yeah.
Man, always good to see you, man. I hope you're doing great. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I just want to say thank you also, to all the people here right now for taking the time out of your day. I know that there's a lot of other videos and podcasts and live streams that you can see, but you chose us. So thank you so much, for that.
Yes. Right. 6 and 11, huh? Okay. We hear you.
I got something.
Yeah.
We're back, baby. Hell yes. My man,
Let's go.
Raider Ryan. Hey, I appreciate you, man, for keeping the lights on here and on my channel, and not just Raider Ryan, but for all the other people watching, who click on my videos and watch my videos. You guys have helped me upgrade my live stream podcast station I have here. I was able to get some better equipment. I got a soundboard, so thank you guys, and all that would not be possible without you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for that, and I'm sure Hot feels, the same way I do. We are so blessed, to have you guys here in the building and showing support, to us. So thank you guys so much.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, you saw that new intro that he had, right? I mean, that's all because of you guys.
Yes. Everything that I have on live right now is because of you guys. When I started doing, live, I have this old laptop, with this old webcam, and I was doing my lives with that, and I was happy just to be live, but the quality and the stuff that I really wanted to do, I wasn't able to do it because I didn't have the materials yet, for it. And thanks to you guys, in just 1 year, I have gotten, so much support to where I was able to upgrade things here. And it all goes to the channel and the community here. I don't ever use personal stuff like that. So thank you guys for allowing me to change my whole streaming platform. I am now on Restream now. I was on some free basic stuff. I got a soundboard, I got a new webcam, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Raider Ryan.
Thank you. Yeah. There'll be some stuff on the rewatch. Definitely gonna want to get into the new offensive coordinator and the Rob Leonard defense. I'm extremely excited as well about that. And yeah, a lot of love for everybody, and excited to get started on this new setup. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So Black, it will let me in. Okay. Before we go, I'm gonna try to. Hot, would you do the honors of sending him the invite, please, just so we can get him on here, so we can share his take? Well,
Let me send it just one more
working
again.
on that right now, brother.
Yes.
Hey, train with the salute. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Raider Ryan. Thank you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
He's pulling Gene out. This is a fool.
I agree. I like the hiring of Rob Leonard too. A lot of players want, they wanted to promote him as the coordinator because they have the chemistry with him. And I've been hearing, a lot of things about him too, not just from our staff, but from staff around the league too, that he's a great, coach. And I am very happy with that hire also as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of pressure disguise stuff. Joe Woods staying as defensive pass game coordinator was really important to go along with Rob Leonard, so that was a big deal. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of rushing 4 or 5, dropping 6 or 7, creating hesitation from the quarterback and rotating coverages, things like that. So I'm excited to kind of break that down. I think it's going to be great.
Yes. Raider Ryan, thank you, man. Yes, I was busy with the move, so I moved. Plus, I've been just busy with work, but
Yeah.
and then my man out here, he was up in the mountains, doing great stuff. Over the mountain he came, and he's back down here with us. So we are blessed, to have him here right now, and I'm just happy just to be back. And trust me, there was a lot of things that I wanted to, touch on during the end of our derailing season we had. I just couldn't do it because I was just so busy. But I'm so happy, to be
Yeah.
back here now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Train, I'm gonna pull Gino.
He's out. Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
A Train, yes,
All right.
Raiders.
All right.
Rob did work with the Ravens linebackers. This stuff. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I kind of feel like he is not known as the belle of the ball, but I feel like he can become the belle of the ball. Like he
Yeah.
can. I think he's gonna shock. A lot of the people of the um outside the or within the league who don't know him as well, aside from the people who do kind of know, about him. But I think he's gonna do great things.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the Flores, Mike McDonald, kind of DNA stuff. It's going to create chaos. And then, having Joe Woods as a secondary coach back there is going to make sure that we don't have too many busted coverages with that chaos he's creating with the D line. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it works out. And yes, I was I was a mountain man for sure. I'll show you. I'll have to bust out some pictures. But yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I do want to see that, man. Oh, I want to see you on the apex of the mountain, man.
Well, yeah, the goats and the sheep, and then the beard was crazy. So yeah, it was
Oh man,
the whole thing. Yeah,
Jesus beard going. Yeah, the Jesus beard and the
whole
staff.
Jesus beard. Yeah, man. There was many staffs. Right. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yell out, boys. Yes, everybody. Raiders.
Raider man, hell yeah! What?
It's our time. Yeah.
Woods is solid as well.
Yeah. Yeah. He's gonna help with the safeties and the kind of pattern match stuff that we're gonna end up doing. Um, You know, he worked well. He's a good teacher. He was working directly with Darian Porter and Chen this year, and you saw the improvement that those two players both had good years. Chen had a career year, Porter really good year, and I'm excited to see how he develops. But yeah, good
Yeah.
support. Veteran, been a defensive coordinator himself. You know what I mean? So you have the young kind of coaches, uh, Janako and Kubiak and Leonard are all like 38 or something around there,
Yeah.
right? And then you've got, McCoy and Woods on each side of the ball who've been in the league, coordinating, head coaching, that kind of stuff for a really long time. So that experience, I think, will really help kind of augment the experimentation and stuff we're going to get. We have young coaches. We have like guys who are going to, draw up new stuff and be inventive, which is it's been a long time. So
Yes. I agree, man. I agree. I agree.
mm.
Warrior Christ says, I enjoy your guys' show. It's my first time checking in. I am in New York. What time do you guys normally kick off on Sundays? Well, you're East Coast time, so you're gonna be 3 hours ahead of us. So I'm not sure the time with hot here, but I'm West Coast time. So we
Me
try
too.
to stage it around 3 p.m. Sundays, West Coast time. So that's what we try to
Mhm.
do. But shout out to the East Coast and shout out to New York, man. Go Brooklyn. And shout out to the
Big
whole
city of
five.
dreams.
Shout out to the whole five boroughs out there, you know.
Oh,
Um,
all five. That's right.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to the East Coast, man.
Let's go.
Appreciate.
For real.
All right. Yo.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now I'm gonna drop my phone and everything. Boy,
Couldn't had to get
they
in
they
here.
trying to come. They trying to come for me, man. Like, what is this, bro? Hold on. Not even kick. Hold on. I done dropped it.
It's all good, brother. Take your time.
Yeah, tons
Yes,
of rare films
Warrior.
in NYC.
Warrior, thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here and a part of the great community we have growing. And
Right.
yeah, it's I will definitely look forward to all you guys um, joining up here each Sunday if you guys do have the free time to come check us out. So we
Mhm.
really appreciate that.
Tell me we getting the band back together.
The boys
What's
are
up,
back.
Hop?
Let's go.
And what is up, Black? So how you been, brother? It's been a while,
How you
man.
guys doing, man? I'm good, man.
That's good. That's good, man. I've been busy, man. I moved, I've been just working like all that, but I finally wanted to hunker down, and get back to doing what we do best, and that's just trying to support the whole Raider Nation and the community as a whole, and just try to keep pushing out, some good
Mhm.
content out there.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on the whole the we got the number one pick, we got Kubiak, which looks like it was our number one choice for head coach. Thoughts on
Yeah.
that? Did you want Kubiak? Do you want Mendoza? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted Kubiak. Kubiak is a cool, competent hire. I mean, like he's probably anybody will probably go for him right now. He's probably one of the hottest guys, if not the hottest guy. And it's about time we actually got our guy that we actually wanted. So that's cool. I mean, I'm not, I'm not mad about that. I didn't like how Pete Carroll got done, but whatever. That's a whole nother conversation because we got a whole year to catch up to talk about that kind of stuff. But I like Kubiak. I like Mendoza. He showed me what I needed to see when I needed to see it. I actually met him last weekend too, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
and he's and he's how he portrays himself online. You know how sometimes you could be one way online and offline a different way, kinda.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's authentically who he is. Um, Football, prototypical. I mean, like 6'4", big kid. Like I,
Hmm.
I I I like it. I wasn't sold on him at first because I didn't know a lot about him, but I started
Hmm.
watching them during the national championship and in the playoff run when it mattered. And you can get a little bit of information from that. And then when he, essentially everybody felt that he was a Raider when he was going for it on the fourth and four, 4th and 5 or something, ran it, got the first down, and still got the touchdown too. And so it's good to see that. And I was like, okay, he got the it factor. So
Hmm.
I'm happy about that. So now let's just put it together and get him an O line. I think Gino's going to start next year though, still, but yeah, let's get that's our O line period. Because if we even get Gino O line, I think Gino will ball under Kubiak personally.
If if Geno stays, I'll be really surprised. I feel like that bridge might be burnt, but we do need a
Yeah,
quarterback that can be a competent starter so that we don't have to rush Mendoza out there and let him
Right.
naturally take that job from somebody. I've been hearing, weird things like maybe even like a Derek Carr come back.
Don't do
Ay,
me
ay,
like
ay.
that. Right.
Oh man, oh man, Derek Carr. Oh
You
my
know, as much as I would love that to happen, it probably
Played under
won't
Kubiak.
happen.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't happen though. No different than Gruden coming back. You know, it's kind of like too good to be too good to be true. Um,
Hmm.
but if he was to come back, you know, of course, I'm gonna have open arms and embrace him. But I just don't think he's gonna come back. But if he does, though, I wouldn't mind being wrong there.
Listen, if we spend our money correctly, send in free agency and equip this roster with a number one corner and a pass rusher and O line's looking good and bringing a number one receiver, this team's gonna look a certain type of way, and the kind of way that would make somebody come out of retirement. He already played under Kubiak and knows the offense, or so it doesn't have to learn it. And he's pretty
Man,
good steward, pretty good person to learn from if you're Mendoza as far as understanding different offenses and being a leader and playing the right way and showing up on time and blah 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 blah.
man.
So maybe we can heal the wounds in the nation
Yeah,
by
you made a good comment. You made a comment like that ship may have sailed. A lot of people are upset at Gino, and I really wish we were streaming last season because I told everybody from the beginning, Chip Kelly is not the guy that we needed. And Chip Kelly sabotaged our whole team last year. And it made Geno Smith look very, very bad with the play calling. And despite all of that, he still was a 50-50 quarterback. What I
mm,
mean by 50-50 quarterback, 15 touchdowns, 15 interceptions.
right.
20 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, 21 interceptions. No, 50-50. So considering as bad as we were, we went and got Chip Kelly, supposed to be the number one offensive coordinator in the league, the most paid, all everything, and we were last, dead ass last. And so I'm thinking that if he has a new fresh start, then he could play up to his abilities, and then Geno Smith would be a 25 touchdown, 14 interception type guy. Now, how many wins that get us? I don't know because I don't know what our defense going to look like, but it's going to
Hmm.
look a lot better than it did last year. And then you guys
Hmm.
won't think Geno Smith is like ass now. Um, like he legit been playing better in his career, and he came to Oakland and he had one off year, and now we think that he's a bust so much that we think that AOC is better than him. Some things I've heard in the nation. Uh, Mendoza's better than him. Like Mendoza's not better than him, man. Mendoza's cool, but he ain't better than Gino. Gino can play, man. Just give him a chance in a new
Yeah.
right,
offense
right.
in a new offensive
My,
line. Get him an offensive
if he
line.
didn't
Like Jesus.
if he didn't do what he did with flipping off the fans, you know what I mean?
Hey,
Maybe it'd be a different ball game.
hey, I would have flipped them off too because they didn't understand what was going on. Everybody blaming Gino, and it wasn't Gino. It was
Right.
not Gino. I'm gonna say it was 30% Gino, 70% Chip Kelly because a lot of them plays that he was calling, Gino had to either eat the ball or he had to throw it in these weird ass coverages because there was no extra people. Like we always were looking at one guy to get open. If he wasn't open, there was no check down. There was no alternate route over here somewhere. It just was terrible, man. And playing quarterback, I just saw it from the beginning. I was just like, these play calls are terrible. Like they're setting him up to fail all the time. And that's not
Yeah.
to say that Gino was great or he was good or he didn't make bad decisions. What I'm saying is majority of his bad decisions were set up before he even snapped the ball. We didn't even run
Yeah.
the ball. We used to play action on first downs all the time without running the ball, and everybody know we don't run the ball.
Right. No, it
All
was
right. So I just have to say here, great take, Black, and I
My
always
bad. I had a lot to
your
say. My bad.
no. I'm happy that you're here and that we could catch up with all the stuff that Hot and I we talked about earlier. So I agree with you to a certain extent, and I always respect your opinions. You I bring here always, but so let's. I just would like to go back to Chip here. So
Hmm.
there was, the whole thing, about, oh well, Chip Kelly, he's running an horrible offense, and then there was also Chip's camp saying, well, Pete Carroll won't let him fully call the plays, and Pete was the final verdict on the hammer, that would sign off on the plays. So there's that too, which who knows, what's true. And then also with Gino, after Chip Kelly got canned, and fired, Gino was still playing terrible,
No,
and I understand, like we had a bad O line and like all that too, but it's not just about Gino playing bad. Talent wise, it's not just that. It's just the way that he carried himself when he was doing bad, and I just don't want that type of player to be the one to mentor Mendoza if you're going to have that kind of attitude like that. And to your point, to saying where you believe Gino will be starting this season, um, I could kind of see somewhat of that being true, but I just kind of feel like that bridge has been burned, and I could also see another veteran guy coming
who?
in, to fill that void for Gino to start while Mendoza
mhm.
has time to sit and learn. And but who knows? Maybe we'll draft him and Spytek and Kubiak's like, hey, we're gonna just roll with Mendoza day one, and then that's
Mhm.
how it will be. I'm just trying to say, I just kind of think the difference here is that even post Chip and Kelly, he was still playing horrible, and his attitude was a big thing for me. And as I said earlier, him flipping off the crowd and showing the bird, like that was the
Yeah,
sign done,
yeah.
there.
No, 99% of the time I would agree with you on that. This is that 1% that you mother suckers don't know what's going on. Because I promise you on everything I love, if see this is what Chip Kelly was trying to do. He was trying to get Geno Smith out of there so he could get a quarterback that he liked. And
Mhm.
so I promise you, if he would have been the quarterback, if he would have been the offensive coordinator with Mendoza being the quarterback, our offense would have never looked anything like that. I promise you. Now, as far as Gino playing worse after the after Chip Kelly left, I'm about to look that up because I don't see that to be true, right? But
Mhm.
but but I'm not saying that you're wrong because I haven't really. I'm going off the eye test, right? What I'm thinking,
Mhm.
but I'll look it up in a few minutes. But like I said, I understand what you guys are saying about the flipping the. You can't do that as a quarterback, all that other stuff. But we had so many internal problems. It's a shame that we're blaming it on the quarterback when really we were having problems at, from the top.
Right.
Like I said, we win championships from the top down, not the player up. So
Right.
for us to sit there and say, "Oh, all these things culminated on Gino," and I'm like, "Well, what made Gino play like that? Because Gino wasn't like that before he got here.
Right.
Everybody know when you come to the Raiders, you're going to either uber thrive or you're going to be out the league. It's going to be one of the two things." And
Right.
so I think that's what happened with Gino. He got frustrated, and even the fan base got me to the point where I didn't even want to watch the Raiders no more. Not because of the Raiders,
Mhm.
because of the fan base. Because we were crying about turning the corner. We need to build a culture, and then we're building a culture. Then don't look at the record. Stop looking at the record. but even as far as burning bridges, then Max Crosby did burnt like the bridge like twice. They've been talking about him leaving for the last 2 3 seasons now. So the burning the bridge thing, I don't care
Mm,
about that when it comes to the Raider fans. I care about it for you. I care
right.
about it your opinion, Western. I care about it when you say it, um, hot spot. But ultimately, if I was the quarterback in that position, I just would have
Mm,
fell short right then, and I would have been running like this
mm,
one time, just one time, because I've been so frustrated. Just so
I
I
understand
understood
it.
Gino's frustration.
Yeah, I
So
understand
I'm
the
just hoping,
frustration.
I'm just hoping for his sake that
Yeah,
he get a chance to come in and compete. And if he
right,
loses in preseason to Mendoza, it is what it is. But
right.
I'm not being the pro that he is.
Yeah,
He's never been an issue before now.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking that other than except for when he got socked in the jaw, and that was
Mm-hmm.
hella long ago. And so I'm thinking if he come in, new slate, new offensive coordinator, somebody's not sabotaging him, then he will
Mm-hmm.
thrive.
Well,
That's just
you
what I
know.
think.
I don't doubt that too much. I mean, Kubiak when he got hired in Seattle, Gino was there, and you listen to his speech when he got hired. He didn't seem to be against Gino as a quarterback in the offense. So I mean, it's
Hmm.
not as if as a player he can't do it. And if if Tom Brady and them say we're keeping Geno Smith and we're gonna give him a chance and da da da, da, they can rehabilitate his image if they really wanted to, right? It's all about
Yeah.
want, right? And is Gino going to play horribly under Kubiak? I don't think so. I think he would play it much better. I do think that
Mhm.
the bad offensive line, not having checkdowns from Chip Kelly, which I did not expect to have to happen. You were completely right about Chip Kelly. I was wrong. I thought that he would be able to kind of develop that offense from what he was doing at Ohio State for the pros, but he just kind of threw the Ohio State offense in there without really making any changes. I mean, even the splits were still set up for college. Um, So
Yeah,
that was surprising. I thought we were
I
gonna
was
get a lot
wrong
better.
too.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll always be honest here, and I'll always say, when I was wrong, I was super. I think I was the highest out of all three of us here on
On
Chip.
Chip Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was just all bad, and but if you guys notice when Gino got popped in his jaw, he was quiet and he wasn't acting like that. So he needs just to get popped in his jaw one more time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but hey, if Tom and Kubiak want to, keep Gino, and if that's what they see, that's best going forward, then hey, I'm all for it. I trust the
Listen,
the
I,
front
I think
office.
I think we should bring in, throw a couple dollars at a Kirk Cousins as a
Give me
backup.
a hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
Oh.
now I would definitely like that better than Smith, and I just feel like, he would have, a better impact as a mentor. And I just feel like he he could do better than Gino, honestly. But hey, I could be wrong because Kubiak, knows, you know, um, Gino, right? So, it's tough to say.
Yeah, yeah. I you know I love me some Kirk Cousins, and I don't know how much he has left, but I don't. Obviously, if he plays, we're in trouble anyway. I'm looking at like this quarterback situation as somebody who is gonna at max play the first 3 or 4 games and then hand it over to Mendoza, right? Um, because I just don't see any point in anything else. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah. And then to what Bush
You got
Raiders
problems
saying
with your
here?
audio, Black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
you let him, you let Gino play until he start looking like Gino last year. If he start looking like Gino last year, then you'd be like, All right, you got like one more start, bro. And then if he don't, then here comes Mendoza at somewhere in the middle of the game. Maybe
Hmm.
like you say, week 5, week 6. But like I said, I don't. Gino is a pro. He's a real pro. You know what I'm saying? He's the type of player that it's going to take about week 8 or week 9 before we get him out of there. I mean, because
Hmm.
even as bad as we were last year, he still put up with the BS.
Right.
He still took the responsibility, and then in doing that, we didn't give him grace, knowing that it wasn't all him. We literally blamed it all on him. Like so, he was like, you know what, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, and I'm not saying it was the best thing to
Yeah.
do. I'm just
He
saying
listen.
it was
He
a me
just
thing to do.
he may not be able to deal with this fan base. Like he couldn't deal with the New York Jets fan base. He couldn't deal with the
Mm,
Raiders fan base. Like we're too. This fan base is impatient, bitter, mean,
mm.
ornery. You know what I'm saying? We, you know what I'm saying?
You know, that's
Maybe
a
if he
great
would go
point.
play for the Jaguars or something like that, he'd go play for Titans or whatever. Their fans would be super nice to him, and it wouldn't really matter or that sort of thing. I don't know.
I think he got it. I think he got it now.
Yeah, that you know, that was a spot on. Yeah, that was spot on. You know, he just can't handle it. You know,
I don't think that's what it was.
absolutely agree with that
Chat,
there.
chat, chat seems to be loving this cousins over Gino idea. But what you
Hell
thought
no,
about
Yeah.
cousins?
y'all just saying that. I like. First of all, I've always been a proponent of you like that. I always like that. I like Cousins, right?
Right.
But he's another one of those quarterbacks. He's a 50-50 quarterback, but not in a sense like Gino, because Gino's just going to be 50-50 pretty much what he does, right? The
Hmm.
thing about Cousins is going to either be really, really high or he's
Hmm.
going to be not really, really low, but he's going to be like, get him out of here. Like, we'll be like,
Right.
get him out of here. He will not survive if he gets to throwing like hella picks. And
Right.
then you talking about personality. His personality is the one that don't really fit because his personality don't really fit anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But he's a competent quarterback. If we didn't have a Geno Smith, then I would be like, okay, I can see kicking the tires on him as long as we don't put AOC out there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, but if we got Geno Smith, we owe it to him to give him another chance to shoot himself in the leg if he was to show us that that's what he really was last year. Which
Hmm.
I don't think that was a good a good I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I don't think that was a good showing of who he was. It's not a good
Right.
representation because of we were being sabotaged. We literally heard that Chip Kelly was calling plays that they wasn't practicing or didn't even know about. Like you can't do that to a quarterback. You can't. You
Yeah.
can't.
I mean, the game plan was faulty. To go into the week, right? Like we got out coached every week,
Every week.
so that's not great. Yeah, there is the back and forth that you hear about Pete wanting to run the Seattle kind of offense while Chip Kelly's trying to run this, and everyone trying to they competing about what they're gonna run. I don't even know, man. Like,
Now you know what it was if you watched the games because really you know Chip Kelly, you know that Pete Carroll wasn't involved with the offense because when they would go to the halftime, he would always say the same thing, which I kept saying, yeah, we need to mix it up more. We need to run the ball. We need to do this. He was literally trying to tell him through the media, yo, bro, can you run the ball? Yo, bro, can you mix it up? Yo, bro, can you get the ball? Like, come on, man. And so Pete Carroll was thinking, okay, if I separate myself from Chip Kelly, they'll get rid of Chip Kelly, which they did, right? But then Pete Carroll couldn't win no games because we didn't have an offensive coordinator because we got another old offensive coordinator that stepped in the intern, and he couldn't score 18 points. So consequently, he lost his job. Pete Carroll lost his job because of it. So I'm just saying
Hey,
it,
that is a great take. Thank you, Black, for that. So I just have to say, just one final thing pertaining to that. The only way. and it's just me here. The only way that I would run it back with Gino is if that's what the front office wants to do, and if they think that that is the best thing going forward for us to win games. And but I feel like, and it's just me. Kirk Cousin has a more safer floor, and Gino is kind of more of a boomer bust.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. I see. For me, it's like I don't know. I would like to see Gino get a new start again. I mean, trade him to Minnesota. They need a quarterback, right? Um, Trade him to a place where he has a chance to start for more than just a half the season. But if they want to bring him back, bring him back. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I will have some things to say about it, but I will trust this front office if they wanted to do that. Um, I honestly, I'd rather see Carr come back, and I'm not even a huge Carr fan, so that tells
Oh
you that
man.
much. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm just saying it. No one wants to hear it, but
No,
yeah.
so I don't even want to go down that far route. Um,
Come on, think of the shows,
I respect your take always. I just feel like
the content.
just based on what Carr said on his last interview that I seen with his brother David.
Mhm.
He said that he would entertain coming back for a Super Bowl contender. So
Mhm.
that's the real case. You know, I don't really see him. You know, like coming back. You know, to be a under center for us. I'm, all I've been off that car, car ride, for a long time. But once again, I will say this: if that's what John Spytek and Clint, would like to do, then
Yeah,
hey, I trust them.
yeah.
But I just don't see it.
No,
Alex, I agree.
highly unlikely. I'm saying it more to mess with people, honestly. But just watch this space. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, expect the unexpected, for sure. I just it's just something that I just don't see happening. But if it happens, hey, I'll be the first one to come on here and say, hey, I was wrong.
Hmm. Hmm.
That kind of falls into the same bucket as oh, let's bring back Gruden and Carr. I hear that, and that's people stuck on nostalgia, and that's a nostalgia pick. And yeah, that's that's a pick where they're picking with their heart and not the chart.
Fair, fair, fair. Yeah. Can we stop with the car, please?
Yeah. Hey, some
So
I can't knock or hate on any Raider fan out there or any fan of Carr in general. But some people would love to have him back, and some people are just done with him. And I'm one
No,
that's
that's fair.
that ship has sailed, that flight has departed, and yeah,
the
you know.
the reason why I would want them two to come back is not a nostalgic reason at all. Like I think a nostalgic reason would be I don't know because even Del Rio for me wouldn't even be nostalgic. I think like I used to give the Niners a hard time about um, your franchise will never go forward as long as you do players a certain kind of way, right? Like the way we did Derek Carr was terrible. Like we did him wrong, like straight up wrong, and we allowed McDaniel's to do that to him. So the reason why I would have want Carr to come back is because we did him wrong to kind of
Mhm.
reconcile that. Same thing with Gruden. We know dang well we were in full mode with Gruden, so they stole Gruden, the league did from us. So to make things right, put him back where he was before they derailed us. You know what I'm saying? Because we were
Mhm.
really building momentum. So that's the reason why I would want them two back. Other than that, I mean, even with Gruden on the table, I still kind of like the hiring of Kubiak because with Gruden, we would kind of have to start all over again and get the engine going again. Because remember, we started
Mm-hmm.
off 4-12, and then
Mm-hmm.
we went. Then we started, so we had a couple losing seasons. Then we kind of bust through, and then when we started kind of get our mojo, then they snatched the rug from under us. So I just
Yeah.
wouldn't want to wait that long with Gruden. I just think Clint gonna come in and try to
Mm-hmm.
hit the ground running with us. Like that's what
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's about what he can teach. See, for Carr, to me, the only reason why he would make any sense is because he's comfortable in the building, right?
Hmm.
He he is comfortable with ownership. He knows he's not a starting quarterback really anymore, and he's okay with that. He knows the Kubiak offense because he ran it for like a whole season and a half, 2 seasons, something like that in New Orleans, right? And he's a great teacher and ambassador for the Raiders and for the game itself, right? And so I'm not tripping about Carr being in the room with Kubiak and Mendoza and Brady, right? Now, is he gonna win us a bunch of football games? No, I don't think so, right? But the backup quarterback on this team should not be looked at as someone who's going to win us a bunch of games, right? It should be looked at as somebody who can help with Mendoza and start in a spot, maybe start the first couple games of the season while Mendoza gets ready, and it shouldn't be about wins and losses, right? So
Yeah.
in that
Right.
case, Carr fits in. If you're looking for Carr to come in and win the Super Bowl, then that's not the point, right? So that's how I look at it. Now, highly unlikely. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing
Yeah.
it.
I just got to go back to Ray the Hole's comment here. So I read that and I smiled because not only did the wheels fall off of the car, right? That car is a salvage title now, and it'll never be the same.
Oh my God. Some of
Salvage
my
title
best
is a
cars.
good deal.
So I was about to say some of my best cars would have this title, but it's
That's
okay
right.
though.
Get you that salvage title and ride that bucket until you can get a loan for a new
Until it
car.
don't ride no more, right?
Oh man, yes, he is a Raider. He is a Raider. He will always be a Raider.
He
He
will. Yeah, I mean, all-time leader in passing yards and all kind of stuff. Dude has records with this team, so you know, there we go.
yeah. Boyer Christ said perfectly said about Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So anything else you guys would like to share or say to the chat before we
Yeah, I just want
head
to
out?
say when Chip Kelly left the building, Geno Smith had 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He did end the game. He did end the season with 19 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, which is a miracle considering all the pick sixes. All the 3 interception games he had last year. And as bad as we thought, you would think that he had more interceptions than touchdowns. It goes to the 50-50 thing. And he struggled all year and still ended up a little bit above 50-50. So what that tells me is there's more game in that arm. I'm telling you. There's
Hmm.
more game there.
Yeah, no, man, the stats hold up there. It's not that far off of what Sam Darnold did. So,
And I like him better than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold just got in the right situation because Sam Darnold ain't that good. He's cool, but he ain't that good. He ain't that good.
yeah.
Because
So
I
it's
bet
gonna
you
be
watch him next year. Watch how he play now. Watch how he play without Kubiak. Watch.
that'll be interesting. I think Kubiak is a
Sure.
is a big difference maker. So yeah.
For sure. For sure. I'll
But
just say
don't
this
get me
one.
don't but don't get me mad. He did his part though. Not to knock Sam Darnold because they bounced him around the league and he found him a place and got him a chip. So at the end of the
Hmm.
day, he sees the moment. Don't get me wrong. He didn't lose the game for him. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, a lot of quarterbacks will want his career, but I'm just saying, as far as his talent wise, it's not like it's Geno Smith here and Sam Darnold is up here. It's not like that. It's not.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's fair. That's fair. I just would like to thank Geno Smith and Pete Carroll for the number one pick. And thank you. And,
No, you think Chip Kelly? You thinking the wrong person. Thanks, Chip Kelly.
JSN.
oh man, Bush Raider says Gino throws in a double and triple coverage and throws it away on fourth down to protect his completion percentage because it was probably
No,
part of his
nobody does
contract.
that.
That's all
Nobody
you,
does
Black.
that.
That's all you,
Nobody
Black.
does that. Nobody
I don't
does
understand
that.
how's throwing it away protecting his completion
Yeah,
percentage. Just
nobody does that, man. That's a fan tech, and I love you, and I understand what you're saying, but that is not what's going through a quarterback mind when he got 250-pound grown men that's paying other grown people bills running after him. Let me protect my stats, and I'm gonna throw it away or throw it in double coverage. Look, if you got a play call and Chip Kelly's sitting there telling you this guy should spring open, so throw it to him, and you don't have no out route or you don't have no check down, you're either going to get sacked hella times or you gotta throw it in the double coverage. Gino started the season throwing it in double coverage. Everybody was talking about why is he throwing it in double coverage. If you go look at the all 22, because that's the only receiver that was supposed to be open this play, and their defenses was already on the guy, but Gino's trying to make a play anyway and throw it to a guy. Okay, so he stopped throwing into it in double coverage because everybody was complaining. Then Gio's holding the ball too long. And I'm like, well, who was he supposed to throw it to? Was it double coverage? Like he was damned if he do, damned if he don't. And 19 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Actually, I'm actually more proud of him than I was before because I was like, all things considering, you still had more touchdowns than interceptions,
but
considering how
see,
we thought he played.
I don't think that this comment is true. Sam is much better at slipping out of the pocket and extending plays than Gino. I don't think
Who?
that's true. He's saying Sam Darnold is more
Sam Darnold.
elusive or
Definitely
better.
not.
Better. I don't think that's true. I think what you saw was that the Seattle offensive line, even when they failed, they knew how to fail. Right?
Uh,
You can give up quick pressure as a guard, but you can't give up quick pressure to the inside as a guard. Right?
right, right.
Like as a tackle, you can get beat, but you can't get beat to the inside immediately, right? Like so, like off when Seattle's offensive line got beat, they got beat the right way. Our offensive line was so badly coached and didn't know what they were doing. They were getting beat in ways where Gino had no shot on the play, right?
Never.
So
You're right. You're right.
there's
Because
that.
you can get beat around the edge, and you can just matriculate the pocket a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
but what we were asking Gino to do was like 1, 2, 3, get up out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's not comfortable for a quarterback, right? Like,
Yeah. Nowhere to step.
and
You
then
know.
and then Gino really was he really not that mobile. Like I think Mendoza might be more mobile than him. I thought Gino was a little bit more mobile than that. He's not that mobile, but he know how to matriculate the pocket well. We just had leaks on the inside, outside, up top, under the ground. Like it was somebody different
Free
every fucking play.
rushers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, I mean, all they had to do was load the lineup and then disguise the blitz, and our offensive line would miss the blocks because they didn't know how to communicate and pass off the assignments. And then yeah, guys were getting beat the wrong way. It was a lot. So yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it was messing with JPJ all year. Then they started putting people at center that never played center. It, come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
that is for sure. Alex Crappa, not Cap. I called him Alex
Yeah,
Crappa.
yeah. Like
yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't get that one. Lockett was a bad signing. Yeah,
So did I not call it and say that we were gonna sign him last year?
you did. You called it. You
I
did.
you
I,
know
I, I don't
I
think he was a bad signing, especially once we lost. What's his name? Uh, to
Well, oh yeah.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, we made the trade, and
We were just punching at the
trade
air with that one.
that was the season was already done once we were at
Mm,
that point. So
I felt
yeah,
like we should have gave Jack Besh more, time and more targets,
they
yes,
did.
point. You know,
Yeah. Rather than bring Lockett
They
in and
did.
let him play, I feel
He
like
got hurt.
Besh. I think Besh was
Yeah,
was
they played
healthy.
all. No, I know, but he came in. He came in played like a couple games, right? Didn't he come in and play a couple games?
He came in and got more reps near the end of the season. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I felt like that should have been his reps the whole time because it was already done by the time we picked up Lockett. But
It
you
don't
know,
matter
that's a
when you ain't
small
got no
detail.
line. You don't
Yeah,
even. Yeah, you right. It don't even matter when you ain't got a line. So
yeah, yeah.
we need to get an
Kelly
O
said
line.
Meredith reminded him of Jason Kelly. This is the thing, though. Meredith played well the year before, and then all of a sudden, under this regime, he's horrible, right? So something ain't right, and it's the strobe light.
It's the strobe light. What they know about that? They don't know about that. So what do you guys think about the because Kubiak runs his own blocking scheme, right? And
Yeah.
that's something that we normally do not thrive in. Although, it's rumblings that we had a year where we did we were somewhat successful because we kind of did half the year with the zone and the half year we did, and then we kind of mixed it up with Josh Jacobs. But what do you guys think about that? I'm curious to hear what you guys think about because it was always an argument when a new coach come in and we go to a zone blocking scheme, we'd be like, "Oh my god!" But I don't think they were going to have the
Mhm.
same response with Chip with Clint. I mean,
so
Yeah.
I'll touch base on that here first, because Hot and I we actually talked about it earlier, and so his dad Gary, was the coach of the Texans, and I'm a big fan of that zone scheme run offense that they do. And if you remember what his dad Gary did with Arian Foster, it was he had that boy going, he was juiced, and
yeah,
I picture that same thing but with Genty. But ultimately, Gary learned that from Mike Shanahan, because that was his stuff, and we could go back to Terrell Davis. He was tearing it up, and
Right.
so
TD.
I kind of envision the same kind of transition to our offense now because his son uh, C- Clint, I feel like he's going to run it, the same way, and I'm really expecting good things, out from Genty. Like I expect him to do a lot better this year
Mhm.
than last year.
Right. I think with the zone scheme, right, the important thing is that you have athletic offensive linemen and a really smart running back, right, who can take advantage and is patient enough and quick enough to take advantage of the holes that open up, right, and and I think Genty is especially um talented in those kind of ways. So I think he fits the scheme extremely well. Um, I think with Grant and JPJ and having Colton Miller coming back and hopefully being healthy, right? DJ Glaze might be able to slide into guard or something like that. I think if we, add another good athletic offensive lineman, this is the outside zone. So being able to kind of stretch the defense horizontally to create seams for what Bowers wants to do going up the seams and what Mayer can do. I think Mayer's going to be a huge part of what we do, right? In 12 personnel a lot, so the defense is put in a bind, so we can end up having
Yeah.
those advantages. Kubiak does a really good job of using formation and motion to create advantages where you have an offensive lineman and blocking a safety or a corner, right? And that's the best they can do because of how he's kind of set them up to fail. And so I think that's going to be a lot different than what we've seen usually with the zone, which is its zone scheme, and that's going to save us, and it's going to be the difference because of the scheme itself. I think Kubiak is a lot smarter about yes, this is the scheme, but how do we make sure it succeeds by setting the defense up to fail, right? And
Right.
so I have a lot more confidence in us running it with this personnel and this team, the line itself is already a pretty athletic line. You know, between Grant and Miller and JPJ, like I said, and DJ Glaze can slide into guard some. So I see some functional pieces there. And if we can add something in free agency and draft for depth, then so we don't have to worry about if one guy gets injured, sort of thing. Um, that could be a big deal. I think the big deal is Miller staying healthy. Colton Miller is indispensable. We don't have extra left tackles just laying around.
Right. And the unfortunate thing about him this year was he got rolled up on. So it's an injury, but it wasn't like an injury that he
Mm-hmm.
kind of was involved in. Somebody rolled up on him, but an injury is an injury because the best ability is availability, and he wasn't available. So we need him to be available for sure because we do need to get a couple linemen, and hopefully we get some better scheming, which I think we will. And we'll see a night and day between our O line. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying we'll be our A O line, but I'm pretty sure we can go from an F O line to a C plus B minus.
Right.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah. Jonico coming over is a big deal. Um, yeah, I think he's gonna help with some of the spacing and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm excited about that pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, everybody here.
The jury has spoken.
We are right now. We're running. We're gonna round about it out to 2 hours in the stream here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna shut her down and give
Mhm.
some closing thoughts.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go first, and then we'll end the show right after.
Yeah. Yeah. My thoughts. You know, I think I've said it a couple times, but we're a couple key moves from being a really competitive team. I'm excited to see how this shakes out. $100 million in cap space, 10 draft picks. Looks like we're gonna
Yeah.
have a quarterback here, so this is gonna be interesting to see. Is this a team that's gonna try to go for you know, turning it around in a year or something like that, what we saw from the Bears? Or are they going to take a longer arc and, trade a Max Crosby and, try to go in and build this thing slowly and look at 2 or 3 years down the road as being the target? So it's going to be interesting to see how this offseason shakes out.
Great point. Black.
Yeah, I think we'll be crazy if we got rid of Max Crosby, especially with the defensive with the new defensive coordinator. He's a run coordinator, So I mean, we got Max can stop the run. Sure, he doesn't get the sacks that we would like, but he creates pressure and he has tackles for loss. So we do need to have anchor in that defense. As far as the team, though, I can see us really like turning around. This is all the thing about it is I don't want our fan base to start acting like we supposed to go to the playoffs. Like, don't do that. Don't put the unnecessary pressure on the team because really, this is a if they sign up for 5 years, I'm thinking 3 to 5 years we should turn it around. But we have somebody that could turn it around in a year or two. And if we start seeing glimpses of that, don't sell the farm already. Don't get to overestimating as fans. Because, like I said, I don't have a problem with what the Raiders is doing so much because we're trying to figure it out. And you can see that we're trying to figure it out. It's the fans that's overreacting. Just like, chill. Let's just enjoy what we got. It's rare that we ever have a chance to get a first round quarterback. I mean, first number one pick quarterback that's undefeated, national champion, and a Heisman Trophy winner. I don't care if this is a weak quarterback class or whatever. We never in this situation. We got the top coordinator to be a head coach. We got all the right. We're making good moves. This is the second year of good moves. We got rid of some stuff last year. Okay, we thought we fixed some things. Some things didn't get fixed. Now let's patch that up. That's how we turn the corner on the culture. So hopefully that's where we are now, and we'll see. Coming up, and we're gonna get into free agency. That'll tell us which direction we're going in. But we definitely need to address the O line. I want Lindenbaum. But other than that, let's see what our defense end up doing too.
Great, great. Great point. I feel the same way, as you guys here. I'm definitely excited and more optimistic going into this new season than I was last year. I honestly feel like, and I said this last year too, but this time, I feel more genuine, with this year. So I really feel like we're actually doing things like a true professional. We got the young hotshot offensive minded coach who we wanted. We got him. We struck out last year in with Ben Johnson, so we got our coach this year. He's building his staff, and we're doing it the right way, where we just don't hire, a GM, a coach, an OC, and say, okay, here, go, gel. So the Clint is picking his staff, and we're doing it the right way. I have a lot of confidence in uh, John Spytek too, and I say it more this year than last year because I honestly believe not only the first round draft pick and the cap space we have, but the chemistry that John Spytek had with his dad Gary while they were all in Denver. I'm sure his son Clint asked his dad. He's like, "Hey, so what's going on with John? How was he over there?" And and as Gary said it in an interview. He said John Spytek is a great guy. He knows what he's doing, and I just honestly feel more so than last year that we're actually riding the ship in the correct way. I'm excited for our first round draft pick that I'm 99.9% sure we're going to get in Fernando Mendoza. I'm really, really high on that kid. And I'm interested to see, how this unfolds with Max. At the end of the day, I love him, you love him, we all love him, nation loves him. I would like to, keep him, but I'm tired of all the cryptic nonsense he's doing. Is you stay or you don't want to be here. And I always say no player is bigger than the shield. I don't care who you are. And I'm just excited though, as a whole, going into the draft, the free agency, and I can't wait for preseason football.
Let's go. Let's go.
I just have one thing though. It's like people are getting on Max, and everybody say no one's bigger than the Shield. Okay, that's true. But where are you guys seeing Max coming out saying these things? What I'm hearing is all these outlets are saying these things about Max, and Max has to always address it and be like, "Oh no, that's not what it is. I got the Raider tag. My daughter is here. I just built my dream home." He always got to qualify himself that he didn't say something, and everybody keeps saying, "Man, if he wants to go, let him go." Like he never said he wants to go. Like I don't understand like where
There.
people are getting that from because the narrative, the, as soon as the Raiders start looking funky, he's on his way to Detroit. Like at first it was funny, and then the second year that they said that, people kind of believed it. And then this year everybody was like, "Well, forget him, let him go." Like, wait a minute, did he ever really just say that? Where I looked around to see where he actually tried to send that mixed signal, and I never seen it. Maybe, and that's not to say that I've seen all Raider content. I'm just saying I've never
Mhm.
seen that. I've just always heard
Yeah.
ESPN, Schefter. Now, all them fools is losing credibility to me now because they be saying stuff now that don't even be true. There used to be a time where Rappaport would say something, it'd be like TMZ. Nah, y'all tripping now. I don't know what y'all on. Maybe because
Okay.
y'all don't want to see the Raiders be good again.
Okay. So,
Fair.
great. A point black. Hot and I touched on this earlier. So,
Yeah. Here he goes.
all right, all right. So, look. Okay, this is the no holds
Exhibit A.
barred right here. Right here on Max Crosby here, right? So it all started with Jay Glazer, right? Saying, "Oh yeah, this and that and that." He was, upset because we benched him for the last two games, right? And then um, he comes out later. Jay Glazer comes out saying, "Oh well, it wasn't Max who said it. It was me." And then you see Max on his podcast and other outlets, saying so Max, do you want to be traded from the Raiders? Max. This is the thing with Max here that bothers me. He never said it himself, or gave you a clear answer on whether he wanted to stay or be traded. It was always the same answer, like, well, just know that I'm here putting in the work, each day, to here to like be the best, and all that stuff. But he never gives you a solid answer. And if he truly wanted to be here, just fucking say it. Say, hey, I want to be here. I I'm just tired of all the cryptic shit. I don't like it, when he beats around the bush. When he was out, he didn't say shit. He just wanted to go, and just be straight up. I just don't like it how he's kind of acting like a little girl, and like saying this and that, and saying, well, oh, well, a lot of people are putting words in my mouth, but he doesn't actually say it him, self. And to Alex's point here, yes, like he never fully denied it, and that's just how I feel, And Max, I love you. I know you're not watching right now because we're like a small mom and pop shop here, but just
Man,
but just in case if you are, I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired of it.
Max,
You son of a bitch.
Max, Max. Hey, Western is my guy, Max. Western is my guy for real. But I'm telling you, I've heard you say so many times that you want to be a Raider. You got the tat on you. Like, what do you need a fucking billboard on your forehead? Like, I don't understand why everybody needs you to
Listen,
come all the way out and say, you know what? I don't care what the Raiders do. I'm gonna
yeah,
want to be a Raider for life. No,
right.
the Raiders have a history of doing this to their players. We just did Josh Jacobs just wrong. You know what I'm saying? He lived. He sat there and watched that. Josh Jacobs was like, "I want to be a Raider." The boy was in the parking lot. I mean, like, come on. He still got shipped off. Like, what more does a person have to? You got to remember, at the end of the day, they don't call this show friends. They call it show business. This is a business, and the Raiders will do you dirty. They've done Marcus Allen dirty. They done done the most Raiders are Raiders. They even did Charles Woodson dirty, but we made that right by bringing them back. But I'm just saying, all that to say is it's hard to give your heart 100% to the Raiders, knowing how they do their players. Like he's already
Listen.
said it out of his mouth that he didn't want to go nowhere. Like how many times you got to say it?
He also opened his mouth too much, and talked
Right?
put it chimed in on who should be the coach, and that didn't work out too damn well.
Yeah, that
So
didn't
at
work
this
out
point,
well. Yeah,
if he wants to be quiet and not say anything and just train, then that's
that's
fine
what
with
he
me,
said.
right?
That's what he said.
Now, I haven't heard directly from him he wanted to be traded. The things I have heard have been about how he wants to be committed to playing football, how he wants to be a Raider for life, how he bought his house here, loves Las Vegas, loves the fans. Now, is he not fully committed, to moving forward because there are issues that he wants to see how it works out? Probably. I wouldn't be right now be like I want to be here no matter what the hell what, no matter what happens, hell
Right?
or high water either, right? Because
No,
why would you? Look
we're
at
the
how things
Raiders.
have gone, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just the fact that he is not asking to be traded and doesn't want to
Right.
should tell you enough. This has been a
Right.
shitty team who's had shitty coaching and who's been shitty. Okay.
Yeah.
So the fact that he wants to be here says a lot, right? The fact
I
that
just
he's not
don't,
asking out says a lot.
I just don't want his all the extra shit. I don't want that to hinder our team going forward. I like, well, we
This
don't need
good good
this
great teams
distraction,
have
and
issues. Great teams have personality issues. Great coaches handle those. Nobody knew
right.
AB was crazy until he left Pittsburgh. Okay?
Right.
They won with that dude in the locker room. You
right.
sometimes you got to win with guys who aren't exactly perfect. Does
well, he
Max
Right.
want
got
to
hit
be
by
seen? Does Max
Irsay,
want
and
to be
that
seen
fucking
and act
will
like
hit
he
him.
doesn't want to be seen?
I'm
If
just
Max didn't really want to be seen, he wouldn't have a podcast. So he does want to be seen, right?
That's one
Right.
So
thing
there's some of
too.
that. I
I
get
with the
that.
podcast stuff, man. Focus on the season, man.
But see,
Players
Yeah,
this
I
is the
agree with
injuries,
that.
thing.
But that's you being a traditionalist though,
You
right?
yeah,
got to work
yeah.
with the players the way they are. The
I'm the
dude
same
has seven
way.
and a half sacks and a billion pressures. That'll, sacks
Look,
are
I
lucky. Pressures are real. So that will probably turn itself around next year. A lot of those sacks will turn back
Bro.
into. I mean, those pressures turn back into sacks. Same thing with Tyree. Tyree's probably going to break out next year because he had a lot of pressures this year. So like, that kind of stuff to me is just a bunch of noise about how things are going to shake out because of odds and that sort of thing, right? But he performs. He performs on the field. He shows up. He's almost always available, right?
Yeah.
So he's not going anywhere unless we trade him.
Yeah.
If we
Right.
don't trade him, he's going to show up. He was mad about not being able to play the last couple games with a bad knee, so he's not sitting
Right.
out.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
and
they
like I
got on
said
his
earlier,
then they got on him then they got on him last year because it was like, well, he went and left early to go get the surgery. Look at him quit on the team. And then when he sat there and got mad because they took him out, which they should have took him out, then they looked at him in a negative sense on that. And I was like, well, Max can't win for losing this situation. Like he just recently said, I'm just gonna shut up, I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna show out because that's the only thing you can do at this point. Because trying to be the number one advocate of the incoming coach, bro, you're not a cheerleader. You're not a good cheerleader because you're like 0 for 2 already. Like, don't do it no more, right? Because that does make you look bad. Because you're right. Because I'm not saying you're wrong, Western, for that. Because all that stuff adds up to the locker room too. You know what I'm saying? Because now you thinking you're better than everybody else, and you don't want you to beat above the shield like you guys say. So I understand that. I just think that Max is just enduring this, and we're doing him the same way like Derek Carr. Like, there's no reason why we should hate Derek Carr as a Raider. Any Raider, I don't care. I don't care. We should never hate Derek Carr. He the one kept us relevant for hella years.
yeah, who knows if Max told Jay Glazer, what, all that stuff, right? And then it wasn't supposed to like come out, and then Max is kind of like re-backing on it, like who knows? I'm just tired of
Yeah,
me. It seems like there's always something with Max each season. We gave him his money, you know. I just don't, I'm just tired of all that extra, nonsense,
what did he
Listen,
do?
you want
and
that media stuff to get quiet. Let the Raiders turn it around. Let's go into Kansas City and whoop their ass on
yeah,
national TV, and the media will start talking different about this team.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
true. Yeah,
it'll stop
yeah,
being we got to trade Mac Crosby and we're a dumpster fire and Crosby this and that. The media
yeah,
just needs something to talk about, and us being a whipping boy is an easy thing to get clicks, but we got to
yeah,
turn it around. We got to win on
yeah,
the
yeah.
field. So.
We're definitely low
yeah.
hanging fruit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just, just keep this in the back of your guys' head. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't be shocked, if there was something, if a trade were, to like happen. Like
I would.
I just would not be, so surprised by it at all.
Yeah.
I
Ultimately, I would
would.
like him, to like, stay, but
Right.
we'll we just have to say, I mean, see,
Yeah.
how things pan out with that.
This could
We'd
be
have to get a
interesting.
king's ransom. We'd have to get a king's ransom for him, though.
We'll see. Give me that Pro Bowl
Yeah,
player and 2 first-round picks. Maybe we'll talk, but we'll see how this. It's going to be interesting how this front office looks at this team. Whether they think we need to trade a Crosby and kick the can down the road a couple seasons,
No,
or if we're ready to, with all this money and draft picks to try to compete pretty quickly here. So we'll see.
yeah. Well, I feel
no.
like if they were to trade him now would be the like most assets that they could get for him. Like his trade. Value cannot go any higher after this season here. Then after, I just feel like it's going to go lower and lower and lower. But we'll see. I just hear all kinds of stuff, and I'm just tired of the Max Crosby bullshit. And I don't
That's the
mean and
media,
I
bro.
don't mean it like this. Just shut up and tackle. you know, like damn.
Because I remember last year, everybody was saying Max Crosby, he doesn't show up when we need him to, and then this year he did. Like he was showing up legit in like big game situations. We just wasn't never in a situation to win games like that for the simple fact our offense never got going. But Max Crosby definitely played better this year. Like I don't have a problem with Max Crosby. The only thing I have a problem with is the media portraying the Raiders the way they are. And if we are gonna get rid of Max Crosby, like you said, we need a Pro Bowler and 2 first rounds.
Yep. Yep.
Because the way we did Khalil Mack, that shit. Like nothing surprised me at this point. I can't even. I won't feel no type of way after we got rid of Khalil Mack.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't be shocked.
He said. He said. He said. He said. Just like I told y'all about Pete Carroll. Don't be shocked. Yeah,
Hey, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Well, we'll
you
see.
definitely told us about Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
called that when nobody called that. So
yeah. We'll see how Damas pans out this year.
right.
You know, how
Right.
how much I could get right.
Right.
We'll see. But on that note, we're gonna end. We're gonna wrap up the show here. I just want to say thank you,
Welcome back,
everybody, from
guys.
whatever
Yes.
outlet you are watching on. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here. Next weekend on Sunday, I will be on Hot Show. We'll be going live 3 p.m. Western time, and I'm looking forward to all you guys being there. And thank you so much for this support and all the
Yeah.
things you guys do. I have so much gratitude, for all you guys out there. I wouldn't be able to do and have what I have going with this live here without you guys. So thank you guys so much.
They
Awesome.
just got so humble, y'all. Don't you love it?
He's a man.
Yeah.
Westradamus.
That's your diamond.
I try. You guys would like to say something for the crowd before we jam out of here?
Yeah. Like and subscribe. Thank
That's
you.
right. We'll be
Thanks
back
for the
next
super
week. Thank
chats.
you.
Thanks for the super
Yes.
chats.
Yes.
100%. We'll be back next week, y'all.
Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all later.